Welcome back. Just want to share what I've been working on here with this one. And I don't even know what I'm going to title this video, but I just thought I discovered something interesting today that I thought I'd share with you that has to do with this horse here. Now, before I go any further, I'll give you a quick little backstory on this horse. And well, for those of you who've been watching my videos, you know this is the worried girl, very worried. And she was extremely reactive to the point where she would actually flip over with a rider on her. And I mean, on a reactive scale of 1 to 10, she was an 11, and she's probably down to a 1 or 2 now. She's doing quite well, but we're not quite there yet. And I discovered what I've been doing is, well, I'll just bring her head a little, and you'll notice she's got a saddle on her. And what I've been doing is, she'll stand at the mounting block for me. I'll put a foot in the stirrup and then lay across the saddle, and I watch to see if the head pops up. That tells me she's nervous about having somebody on her back. And if she's nervous, I'm not going to ride her. I have not yet ridden this horse, even though I've been working with her for quite a while. Nice girl, aren't you? Yeah, you are, sweetie. But I discovered something interesting today. After I got off, I was thinking, boy, she's really doing good. Head doesn't even pop up anymore. You know, I'm having trouble finding excuses not to ride her. But I discovered something today, and well, after I got off her, I started slapping the saddle with my hand, and she definitely reacted to it. I thought, oh, okay, things will still get her excited. She's not there yet. That's kind of my point, is I want to get her there. Don't have an actual definition for that, but just slapping the saddle with my hand got her excited. She started moving in circles, and I thought, okay, well, that's part of desensitizing is you just keep doing it until they stop reacting to it, and as soon as they relax a little bit, you stop. But unfortunately, doing it by hand, she could keep moving away. It was very difficult for me to stay close enough to reach the side of the saddle where I could slap it and make some noise. So I had to get a little creative here. And so I employed my lunge whip. And because I want a variety of things, what I did is I'll move a little further away from the camera so you can see better what we're doing. But we just started tapping on the saddle. Oh, you see she jumped there? I'm not hitting it hard, but she's doing very good. She's not moving this time. Last time I did this, she was moving. But I also want a variety of things, and then I also wanted to up it a little bit. I turned it around. I'm using the handle. It's a little heavier. So not only does it make a different sound, but it also provides a little more vibration through the saddle so that she feels it. So see, she jumped. She's not comfortable. She's moving. That's okay. I can still hang on to the lead, and I'm going to keep doing this. And I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not doing it hard. You don't have to. I'm just making noise. And as soon as she stops moving, I stop doing it. She's getting better. I don't know, what's the point of me showing you this stuff? Well, it's because you need to realize that sometimes when the horse seems okay, there are things still that can set it off. And we want to cover all our bases. Like I said, this horse was so reactive. She was to the point she would flip over with a rider on her, and that's really dangerous. That can actually kill you if the horse lands on you. Fortunately, she's done that, I think, about 3 or 4 times now. And fortunately, every one of the riders has managed to bail off to the side where the horse didn't land on them. But I don't want to take a chance on that happening. So, oh, she reacted. Not bad. She's gotten better. Okay, she stopped moving. I stopped doing it. Okay, she's licking and chewing a little bit now, too. That also shows you that she's got it figured out. She's getting it figured out anyhow. And although the licking and chewing doesn't necessarily work the way a lot of people think it does. I did a video on that once before. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but I'm going to keep repeating this quite a few more times before we ever think about riding her, because I want to make sure that absolutely nothing bothers her. There, she flinched. She's moving. It's okay. She can keep moving. When she stops moving, oh, no, she's still moving. There, she stopped moving. Now she's just moving into position because she wants a treat. No, dear. you don't get one yet. But you've been a good girl. Yeah, you've been a good girl so far. Yeah, you're being a good girl. So repeat the process. You see, each time I do this, she flinches a little less and moves a little less. But as long as she keeps, there we go. She stopped moving. Here, we stopped doing it. There we go. But that's basically what we've been doing with this horse because, like I said, I want to cover all our bases. I don't want to take any chances. I don't want to get on her and have her flip over on top of me. In case you don't realize, aside from the weight of a horse is enough to crush most people, if you ever get hit by one of these horns, if that lands on you, it can impale you. It can go right through your rib cage and kill you instantly. Well, not instantly, but pretty quick. You're not going to recover. So there you go. Don't overlook things. You know, like there's always, like I said, pay attention. And that was one of the things I noticed is that after I was done riding her, it's like I thought, okay, good girl. But when I slapped the saddle, she reacted. She even did it just now. Not bad though. But we're going to keep up in it, and we're going to find other things to hit her with to make different noises. Not hitting her, hitting the saddle. We just want to make noises. And with this, the end of it, the handle is heavy enough. There's a vibration will go through too, and she'll feel it as well as hear it. So it's a good desensitizing. It still has her bothered. By now we're off camera. She stopped moving. Good. Bring her back over. And we're just going to keep repeating this process over and over until she stops reacting to it. And then we'll find something else that she does react to. And that's kind of our goal is you can't fix what isn't broken, so we have to find the things that she reacts to so that we can actually do something about it. Because we can't do something about it if it isn't a problem. But that's where you have to actually look for the problems too sometimes. They don't always just jump out at you. Well, not until it's too late sometimes. And that's what we're trying to avoid here. We don't want to wait till it's too late and things go wrong. Because I do intend on riding this horse eventually, fairly soon, I think, the way she's coming along. But again, we're going to make 100% sure that she's ready to be ridden safely, because that's my goal. I want to make her a safe horse. And she's a sweetheart, but she's still a tiny bit reactive. Every once in a while I catch her reacting to things, but she's gotten way better than she used to be. But again, we're not leaving any stone unturned. And today was a good example. We discovered something quite by accident, actually, that, she still gets bothered by things. So if slapping the saddle with my hand bothers her, we're going to slap it with something else that's a little easier for me to do that bothers her, so we can actually work on it until it doesn't bother her anymore. Like, we're not going to just run up and bang on her as hard as we can and freak her out. We're not trying to, but we just want her to. So there was a tiny little flinch. She's moving just a tiny bit. She stopped moving. I stopped doing it. And each time a couple times I did this, we actually went around in circles for quite a while before she finally figured out that if she stopped reacting to it, it stopped happening. And that's basically how desensitizing works, whether it's her or with this situation or anything else you're doing. There's a couple of approaches to desensitizing, but that's one of them, is you basically, you want the horse to eventually not react to it, but not without flooding. There's a process called flooding where you just make them react to things until they have no control over it, and usually it's when they're tied up and can't get away, and you just do all kinds of nasty things to them that until they've stopped reacting. But that's basically creating a shutdown horse. We don't want to create a shutdown horse. We still want a hint of reactivity in her, because that's what makes a horse responsive to your cues. You don't want to dull them completely. You do not want a shutdown horse. That is not what we're trying to accomplish here. We're simply trying to accomplish is she's learning that me banging on the saddle like that is nothing bad. Nothing happens. She doesn't need to freak out over it. And we're going to keep doing it until she gets that figured out. And we're going to use this and whatever else we can find laying around. That's why I say you get creative and use what you can find. I don't think I'd want to be using the lunge whip if I didn't have to, because I don't like having to keep track of this string and keep it up off the floor, so I'm not stepping on it. But it's what we got available, so it's what we're using. And I think eventually we're going to find something else to use. I got a couple ideas, other things we can use that I think are going to serve the same purpose but create different noises, because that's ultimately what you want. You want a horse that's not going to just freak out over things. Because like I said, you have to understand the history of this one. She has flipped right over backwards with riders on her. I don't want that to happen to me or anybody else. And that is my goal, is to actually get her mellowed out to the point where she is not liable to do something like that. Because even if she just jumps really bad or something and reacts to something, a rider that's not prepared for that or particularly skilled might very easily be unseated. Actually, even a fairly skilled one, I've seen them get unseated by horses that knew what they were doing. But that's another story. So we want to eliminate that from happening. So I just thought I'd show you that and have some fun. So don't overlook things. Make sure your horse is actually safe to ride. You might be surprised the things you find when you start looking a little closer. Have a good day.